We found the exact moment Rachel Zegler cost Disney $800 million, and her biggest mess up isn't what you think it is.
There are growing calls tonight for Disney to fire Rachel Zegler, the star of its widely anticipated Snow White remake.
Rachel Zegler's a narcissistic douche canoe, and they wrote a film which completely nurtured her and facilitated her behavior as well.
You're probably thinking of one of the many interviews where she hated on her own movie.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
Unnecessary? Absolutely. But still, not the real moment she screwed Disney over for $800 million.
The star of the film, Rachel Zegler, proceeded to light all that goodwill on fire. She made it clear that she thinks the story of Snow White is actually very creepy and misogynistic.
One bizarre interview doesn't tank a Disney princess's reputation, but a pattern can do crazy damage.
And Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds.
From insanely woke comments to a series of live mental breakdowns, I landed on the exact moment Zegler sealed Disney's fate. So let me share these moments with you one by one. Starting with 1, the empty theater. Rachel showed up to her own film's opening weekend and sat in a completely empty theater. She brought friends, maybe hoping for moral support, maybe just hoping anyone would show up, but honestly, the scene looked more like a Netflix watch party gone wrong than a premiere of a $370 million Disney project.
2 tickets, please.
For which movie?
Now, to be fair, maybe she thought filming herself buying the tickets and sitting there would come across as humble or down to earth. Maybe it was meant to be wholesome, but it ended up looking like a live feed of a career going through a midlife crisis in real time. Don't get me wrong now, this wasn't just a quiet premiere, it was a ghost town. Of course, social media went feral. Filming yourself in an empty theater, watching your own flop.
Weird.
She watched her movie with all her fans. In the age of viral marketing, Zegler unintentionally became a walking case study on how to market a flop without saying a word. Her attempt to support her own film only confirmed what everyone was already saying: no one was watching Snow White, and that's box office poison. 2, the people will wait in line to see me rant. Okay, this one did not age well at all. Months before Snow White even hit theaters, Rachel Zegler posted a video where she boldly claimed that at every premiere and event she attends,
People will wait in line to see.
because when Snow White dropped, not only were people not lining up to see her, they were actively walking out. That quote got dragged back from the archives and slapped across every meme page on the internet. It became the unofficial tagline of the flop. This was the moment people realized Rachel might be a little too confident in her own hype, which, let's be clear, is fine when you're crushing it. But when your movie is getting review bombed and audiences are choosing anything else, even reruns of The Office over your film, the arrogance doesn't sit right. Disney banked on Rachel being a breakout star, the next Gen Z darling. But when you start off by saying people will line up to see me, and your premiere looks like a fire drill in an empty building, that's a PR disaster in the making. Now, let's rewind to one of the first major red flags. 3, the red carpet interview that made everyone cringe. You know the one, Rachel Zegler all dolled up for the press tour, and then out comes a soundbite that basically slapped decades of Disney legacy in the face. Instead of hyping up Snow White as a reimagining of a beloved classic, she decided to let everyone know she thought the original 1937 film was, in her words, weird. Yes, weird.
Weird.
As in the movie that helped launch the entire Disney empire, the film Walt Disney himself bet the house on was now being casually dismissed as some awkward relic that needed to be corrected.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Bro, she took the original plot and treated it like a court case. That single soundbite might have cost millions before the movie even hit theaters. And it didn't stop there. She doubled down, saying the prince was a stalker, and that her Snow White wouldn't be saved by a man or dreaming about true love, which cool girl power and all. but maybe don't roast the source material while you're literally promoting its remake.
We came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White. It became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader. And the reality is, Snow White has to learn a lot of lessons about coming into her own power before she can come into power over a kingdom.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one, and she's the one who set the terms.
Now, sure, it's fine to give a fresh take on a story, modernize it a bit, but calling a beloved childhood classic creepy doesn't go over well when your movie is trying to cash in on that nostalgia. Imagine rebooting The Lion King and saying Simba was kind of a toxic male.
Women can't even want to be in love anymore. That's some outdated construct. Oh, that was back in the 30s when women actually wanted to be around men, actually wanted to be in love. Like, even though women in 2023, we still come home. Even the most girl-bossy, feminist girls out there that I know, they still come home. They cuddle up on the couch, and you know what they watch? Rom-coms. They watch rom-coms and BBC Jane Austen adaptations, and they eat ice cream because at the end of the day, we're still women, we still want to be in love, and we still like men. And we still want to find a man that will treat us well. But nope, that is a very outdated social construct. Can't have that anymore. That makes us weak and makes us look bad, even though that is literally who we are.
The backlash was immediate. Fans, especially Disney purists, were fuming. Parents didn't want to take their kids to a film where the lead actress seemed to hate the very thing they grew up loving. So yeah, that alone was a PR bomb. And Disney were left trying to figure out how to sell a movie whose star was actively insulting its legacy. And then came the don't watch if you don't agree with me moment. Here's where it got even worse. Rachel Zegler didn't just criticize the movie, she straight up told certain groups not to watch it. In response to online backlash, she clapped back with,
"No need to your business. Thanks."
Now pause for a second. You're leading a family-friendly Disney movie that cost hundreds of millions. Your literal job is to promote it. This moment turned a controversy into a career crisis. Because the second you tell half the audience, don't bother watching, you've basically punched your own marketing team in the face. Some fans defended her, saying she was standing up for herself. And okay, good for her, but maybe not the time or place. Disney needed every single viewer possible to come watch this movie, not fewer. Every ticket mattered, every family mattered. But to Rachel, her political opinions mattered more. Do you think she did the right thing spewing out her political views, even if it meant sacrificing Disney? Up next, we have the 5 Cold War with Gal Gadot. Yes, the co-star chaos. Nothing says movie magic like your two leading ladies throwing shade at each other. Reports started leaking that Rachel and Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, were not exactly BFFs. Tension allegedly started behind the scenes, but it went public when Rachel posted a sentimental message thanking her castmates and completely ignored Gal Gadot. No tag, no mention, just nothing. And this wasn't just a one-time thing. Rachel even made a weird joke about Gal being a pageant queen in a tone that felt more shady than playful. Gal's team, not happy. Rumors spread that Disney had to beef up Gal's security because Rachel's comments led to a spike in threats online.
In the next post, 1 minute later, she added an afterthought in the same thread. Quote, "And always remember, free Palestine." So that was what Zegler posted, and Variety goes on to report many inside the studio expressed shock that she would commingle the promotion of its $270 million tentpole with any kind of political statement. The film's producer flew to New York to speak with her, but Zegler stood her ground, and the post remained.
You know it's bad when PR teams are playing bodyguard for a Snow White movie. This drama made people feel like the film was cursed. Instead of celebrating a feminist reboot or a modern twist, audiences were watching an awkward power struggle unfold in the press. Suddenly, the fairest of them all just looked petty. 6, Disney's PR team playing whack-a-mole. Behind the scenes, things got ugly fast. Disney's PR squad went into full-blown panic mode. They reportedly brought in a social media expert just to handle Rachel's posts. And honestly, that poor soul probably needed hazard pay. Rachel had already bashed the original movie, insulted fans, fought with Gal, and told half the country not to watch. What's left to salvage? It got so bad that Disney executives personally flew out to have a one-on-one with her. That's not damage control. That's we're losing money by the minute level of desperation. Even Steven Spielberg was reportedly baffled by the chaos, and this is the man who made Jaws. It became clear that Rachel wasn't just a risk, she was a brand liability.
My opinion, Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds.
Disney gambled on her being the face of a new generation, but instead, they got a crash course in viral PR disasters. 8. The post-election apology. Just when Disney thought the Snow White press tour couldn't get more chaotic, Rachel decided to express her post-election feelings on Instagram. Following Donald Trump's re-election in 2024, she posted a now-deleted fiery message saying,
Zegler had a very public meltdown on her Instagram stories. She wrote, quote, "F you, Donald Trump," and she proceeded to insult the 75 million Americans who voted for him, quote, "I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world I do not want to live in."
May Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace. What the F? How? And then she discusses the deep, deep sickness in the country. There's no help, no counsel in any of them. She attacked Twitter and Elon and finished with, "F Donald Trump." Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
The backlash came quickly. Conservative commentators, including Megyn Kelly, criticized Zegler's remarks, calling her a pig and suggesting Disney should reconsider her casting. The controversy definitely added fuel to the ongoing debates about Zegler's suitability for the role of Snow White. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Zegler later issued an apology.
Thursday night, the 23-year-old actress posted a new message. "Hi everyone, I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding, and I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse."
8. Hollywood ghosting her career. After Snow White, it was like Zegler disappeared into the Hollywood Bermuda Triangle. Projects that had her name attached vanished. She was reportedly cast in Toy Story 5 cut. Rumored to star in Pirates of the Caribbean, gone. A horror trilogy with Blumhouse, also poof. It's not that Rachel has no talent, but studios want predictability, not controversy. And Rachel had become synonymous with headache. Nobody wanted to cast someone who brings more heat than hype. The message from Hollywood was clear: until you chill out, we're out. And finally, here's the nail in the coffin. 9. From fairy tale to meme material, Snow White didn't just flop, it became a punchline. A $370 million movie turned into TikTok sound bites, Twitter memes, and Reddit roasts. Seat maps with blue dots. Review scores so low you'd think they were typos. And Rachel Zegler went from rising star to cautionary tale. This was Disney's identity crisis wrapped in a glittery dress and shot in 4K. The mix of politics, ego, and poor storytelling cost Disney an estimated $800 million in losses. And now, the exact moment Rachel Zegler tanked Disney is a full documentary-worthy saga. So, was Rachel the wrong choice? Or was the whole Snow White reboot just cursed from the start?